I am so happy to be here today with Tony Lee, Director of Grounds for the Avista Stadium, home of the Spokane Indians. He's been trying to get me to come for a while and see how good
Yes,
the
ma'am.
grass is doing. And so we finally were able to sit down and chat about your experience and what has been one of the biggest impacts for you of planting a new field.
I guess it just makes life easier to maintain it at this point. We had, like I said, a native soil field before. We struggle a lot to try to keep it green, keep it healthy. We didn't have that much root depth in our lawn. And now with the renovation of the field and the new turf, it's just made maintenance a lot more easier and life a lot more easier.
How did you used to have to deal with the field before it got easier? What you were telling me a little story about you had to come by all the time and check the field.
Oh yeah, yeah. So before with the native soil, um, yeah, we had pretty poor drainage before, and then we'd also get develop hot spots and things like that. So we were constantly trying to stay on top of that, just to keep the grass green. Um, I think I was telling you, like even on my own time when we were going to the lake or something like that, I'd always worry about, I always have to come by and check the stadium to make sure everything's fine. And sometimes, you know, I was lucky I did because things would be burning up. So then, something was always happening. So um, this has been a lot easier to maintain. I've got more personal time to enjoy, those kind of things without having to worry about the turf.
I love that because our Grass Clippings podcast is about positive stories of grass. And one of our goals is to develop grasses that make a difference for the end user, for the turf manager like you, for the athletes. And so to me, that's a success story. So tell me a little bit about the transition, what you've gone through to replace this grass, and the benefits that you're seeing with the new grass.
Okay, so one of the things that we did was we um, dug everything out, probably about 2 to 3 feet down all over the place. We've got 6 inches of gravel. We got a new drainage system. We've got a new irrigation system. And then you helped us select the right turf that we needed for disease resistance, wear resistance, and color. And, it's made all the difference. When we laid this thing out, I mean, it was really trying to beat the winter rush before November. So we got it down the third week in October. We haven't even had it down a year. Our root depth is probably about 8 inches, which keeps the canopy cooler. Um, and the color is just gorgeous. And we've gotten a lot of compliments from the players, from the fans. I've even had people come down and ask me, I've got a bet with my buddy. Is that real or is it fake? And I'm like, it's real. And he was like, dang, I lost my bet. But, and I mean, it's just been nicer out here. I mean, for the fans and for everybody, for the players.
Cool story. So the grass that we have on this field is Jumpstart, Moonlight SLT, right, and some ryegrass, gray fox, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
And we picked those. We picked those bluegrasses for the good root system that Jumpstart and Moonlight SLT bring, for the color that we get from Right and Moonlight SLT, and then for the rust resistance, I think, that we get from Moonlight SLT and Right. But your main thing you've seen so far is just the great grow in.
Oh yeah, definitely. It came in pretty quick. In the springtime, you could still kind of see the sod seams because, like I said, we got it down like the third week in October, just before November, and we actually had kind of a mild winter, which we were fortunate enough to have. So come spring, there was a couple spots where I peeled up the corners just to see, and we already had 3 inch root depth just over the winter. So that was
Wow.
pretty amazing to me. And then as the season progressed, I think we started baseball April 4th this year, and you could just see it was already starting to heal in. And then once the heat really started coming on, I mean, the transition has just been amazing. I mean, everything's thick. We see no seed rows now. We see no sod seams. I mean, everything is just perfect. And that's after a couple top dressings as well. But,
Mm-hmm.
we aerate once a month, and it's just been wonderful.
Well, I think part of the key to the success here is also you and your team. as I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think taking care of grass is different than artificial turf because it is a living, breathing plant. And your comment was it needs oxygen, it needs water, and it needs food. But it also needs somebody who knows what they're doing and takes good care of it. So tell me a little bit about your story to get to where you are today.
Well, I started off at the stadium back in 1992, and I was the cook back then, and I actually met the groundskeeper, um, and he asked me if I wanted to be on board, and so I got on board, and I just kind of took a passion to it ever since. He ended up going to the AAA Braves in Atlanta after just 2 years, and I just started calling him on the phone all the time because they asked me to take over. I really didn't know what I was doing, but I really liked caring for the field, and I just kind of fell into it really, but the passion just kind of took off after that. So, and I've loved doing it ever since. And I think I was 28 years old then, and now I'm 57. So still here.
A lifetime career that you've grown into.
Yes, ma'am.
And always learning more, I hear.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yes.
Recently I just started turf management school too. Kind of did things a little backwards, but
that's okay.
I'm going to get my degree after a couple years, and I've got about 30 years experience now.
There you go. Experience and knowledge. I mean, in this industry, things are changing so fast anyway. We all have to be, I think, up on new technologies, new varieties, new management techniques. So I applaud you for all that. And how does your crew feel about the field and things the way they are now?
I think they feel my passion as well, and they understand that we got to be flexible. Things are always changing. And like you said, the environment's always changing, and there's new things that we learn all the time. And I always tell my guys, even after 30 years, I'm always learning something. And so I really feel that they get their passion from me too, because they care, and they show they care just by trying to keep things up. And they're suggesting things to me all the time, and they're always asking me, hey, what else can we do today? I don't think anybody's really in a rush to get out of here all the time because they really want to stay and just make it better.
Yeah. I think just the ability to spend time out here, at least for me, excuse me, for me, breeding grasses, it's like my happy place to go outside and work with live plants. What is it like for you and your guys to get up in the morning? What do you think drives everybody?
I think not just baseball, but just, the work that we do out here. I mean, I know that when I come in the morning and I open up that wall, I mean, the first thing I see is this field every morning. And man, it's inspiring now to see how good it looks all the time instead of what am I going to walk into today? So, that's a big morale booster too. And it just always seems to get better every time I open that door.
I love it when the grass glows, there's something about healthy, green, I'm going to call it safe grass that really lifts our spirits and I think it brings joy to people to see it and to be able to work with it. So I really appreciate your passion, because that's where we come from in our seed company. We're very passionate about breeding varieties that make a difference, bring solutions, help the end user. But to me, the best thing is to hear stories like this, that it actually made a difference. I kind of pinched myself that it actually did make a difference and is working and something that you value.
Oh, definitely. I always felt we were very fortunate to be introduced to you and Pure Seed and having those conversations that we did about what we were looking for and what we wanted, and then seeing how everything's turned out. And I mean, that was a great partnership. I really believe that. And
thank you. That is a good word. I think this industry, you can just sell seed at the cheapest price or whatever seed you can get your hands on, which some people do, and then they have headaches or heartaches. Or you can have someone you trust and develop a partnership where we're going to tell you if there's a weakness in something and suggest what we think would be the best, and you're going to call and say, well, this is working or this isn't. And so that's what I value about our whole industry. Is it's a smaller industry, but when you have partners between, for us, it's a partnership with the grower that grows the seed for us, and then a partnership with distributors to help us distribute the seed around the world, and then finally the people actually using the seed. I have no problem picking up the phone, answering questions, like to be involved that way, because that's how I also learn what do we need to do to make it better, you know? Besides the seed, what other values do you see in working with someone like us?
Well, like I said before, we were very fortunate to meet you and um, have a partnership with Pure Seed. You guys really helped us out finding the right blends, and we got exactly what we wanted. There's a lot of trust with you guys. I know I send you pictures, and you're always responsive to that, and it's just really helped. You know, you guys are always right there for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that to me is the fun part of the business, is hearing what's going on with everybody and what we can do, so that we're very unique, I guess, in that we have the breeder part, we work with the growers, have the seed production, and then the wholesale seed, but we interact with our distributors and the end users as much as we can, and that is very fulfilling. And I imagine for you, it's fulfilling to have some of the people who come to the game come up and talk to you, or the players appreciate you. Do you get very much accolades?
Oh, absolutely. The players are just amazed with everything. Since the changes and renovations to our field, that we've even been told by visiting teams they'd rather play here every day than at their place. The fans, especially, come in here and they like to come to the games just because they know it's going to look great every day. We get letters from people who have moved away to where they're going to AAA games, and they said those fields don't even look as nice as ours. So
Wow, wow. And you just got inspected, I hear. How did
yeah, we
that
just
go?
had our audit yesterday. I think it went pretty well. Yeah, I
Very
think we were
good.
pretty happy with everything, and we got some really nice scores. So, which is 0 is what we wanted. So, we got pretty close to that, and we are definitely in compliance.
Wonderful. I just, think someday you're going to win that Best Field of the Year award, because this is such a gorgeous facility. Your whole facility has been upgraded, and your field. I mean, it's like, how many years have you been working on upgrading things?
So that kind of started just after COVID with the MLB kind of transitioning us into their fold. So some of the things that we had to
Hmm.
make some changes to were the clubhouses, the fields, just some of those areas for the players as well. And we had only a few years to do it. We had a very small window to do that, to come into compliance, and this year we did come into compliance right when we needed to. Everything needed to be ready for the 2025 season.
So, I don't really know this. How does the MLB rank things or score a field when they come and do an audit
So
for the grass part?
so the grass part is basically the grade, um, is the big thing. Making sure that we're pretty flat out here and level. Before we had almost a 32-inch drop from the mound because the field was built in 58 and everything was kind of a slope drainage back then. So now, having the new renovation, having the drainage and all that, and it has allowed us to uh, be a lot flatter out here. In fact, this whole outfield was raised up about 32 inches out here.
Wow.
And, you know, the other thing that with that native soil, having the frost heaves over the winter, I mean, it would undulate and it was kind of a rolling kind of field. And with this new sand base, it keeps things nice and flat. And, the turf is much safer to play on because of the density of it, and it heals a lot faster. And a lot of that had to do with you guys helping us pick them blends so that it could handle the type of traffic it has. The other thing they do is they measure slopes and distances of everything. That's a very major part of keeping that game, on the level, is just, having the right grades and having the right measurements.
It's amazing to me all the things that you have to be aware of and pay attention to. Just showing this outfield wall that you have to patch when the players' cleats tear it up as they're trying to catch a fly ball and climb up the wall. There's so many things. What's your favorite part about this job?
My favorite part of the job is what I started with. Is I've always loved building the mounds and bullpens. I've always loved grooming that, and you know, and also mowing the grass. Keeping it fresh and sharp every day.
There's
So those are
something,
probably two of my favorite things.
I feel like there's something lethargic or therapeutic about mowing grass. I mow all my grass at home too.
Oh, absolutely.
It just,
And I can sit here and just think about other things now, and before I know it, I'm 30 stripes into it. And
it's just peaceful.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's what grass, I think, does for a lot of people. It's almost, replenishes your soul a little bit.
absolutely.
And then we have the passion to work with it, which is unique. And I really just want to applaud you and your team, because a lot of times the folks taking care of the grass are behind the scenes. People don't even have a clue what goes into taking care of it. So I've been in the Middle East, looking at a football field where they had artificial grass on the sidelines because there was so much traffic and didn't have the better drainage and systems that we have now versus natural grass. I took my shoes off and I had my foot on the natural and the artificial, and I could not believe the temperature difference between the two. Do you notice any other benefits by the live grass, that things like that you appreciate?
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. And we hear a lot of that from the players too, like when they're playing on artificial turf and it's, say, 95 degrees. I mean, there is definitely a heat change. But, and even when it's hot here, you can walk through these walls and step out on the lawn and it instantly feels about 10 degrees cooler rather than hotter.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Big
it's
difference.
definitely a big difference between artificial turf and natural turf.
So with this field, how are you feeling about the things that you have to do for it to keep it looking good, versus what you used to have to do? Are you able to get by with less inputs, or it's just peace of mind?
As if you're talking like maintenance practices and fertilizing and spray program and all that, I think I'm seeing a lot better healing and a lot more reaction from the turf, instead of my product going down and not seeing
Mm.
it heal the way I'd like to. I'm actually seeing a big difference in how my turf reacts to the products that I'm putting down. It just is way better.
I really like that word heal, because that is what the grass has to do. It really needs to repair from divots from the players. If there's water stress or disease pressure, it can have natural resistance, which is bred in, but it has to have the ability to retiller and regrow, recover, etc. And that is something that we always are looking for in our breeding program, because we stress the plants as much as we can and then take the best plants to move forward into the future.
And especially in baseball, I mean, these guys are wearing cleats and they take slides and they're pitching on the lawn, or they're throwing or catching or going for balls or diving. And I mean, it can be pretty impactful on the turf. And to see that area that night that got ripped up and a week later it's all healed in, I mean, that's amazing.
That's amazing. I think what I've learned today is that you need really three strong things to be as successful as you guys are with this field. You need good field prep, soil, the drainage, etc. You need good seed, and you need good people that know what they're doing to take care of the grass. And I think you've hit a home run here.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
So I am just so grateful to be here today with you, Tony, and the things that I've learned talking with you. Thank you for what you do every day. I know it is a burden for someone who takes care of live grass, but your artistry, your technical ability, and just your passion, I think, is what's made things successful. You and your team, and the budget that you have to be able to work on this has been helpful, I know. And we've just been blessed to be able to provide seed for you. And so I just thank you so much for visiting with me today and bringing in light to another successful story about grass and how beneficial grass can be when it's taken care of, for our Grass Clippings podcast. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
Something I always tell my guys every day: just be the artist. Try to do the best you can do, and try to be creative about it. Try to be the artist, but also thank you for everything that you've done for us. And it's definitely made a difference out here.
You're welcome. I think together our teams have hit a home run.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.